Welcome to a presentation to the Board of Education, School Board 95. I'd like to provide a little bit of the history of what the Tech Office has been doing since I was hired in 2014. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an opportunity to see how we've progressed over the past 3 years. The Tech Office at District 95 is really only 2 years old. In the past, technology was managed very capably by our systems administrator, Mike, who worked as the go-to person for a huge number of technological issues. As the demands for technology grew too much for one person, the district hired its first technology director in 2014. The two of us immediately created a 3-year plan that was shared with the board in October 2014. This was a comprehensive plan designed to prioritize how to solve the major technological issues that the district was facing on a daily basis. It was also important not to make things worse by adding to the already overburdened network. I'll tell you about the success of that plan in a few slides. Even before the 3-year plan was created, it became obvious that the Tech Office needed to focus on increasing communication both internally and externally. Immediately, a system was implemented to allow automated messaging to parents about events and closings. The school website was modified to make it more visitor-friendly. Internally, teachers started receiving monthly emails called a Tech Check, which explained commonly occurring problems and their solutions. When outages occur, I often send out emails to staff both during and after to mitigate some of the frustration about why things weren't working. And along with this, I meet with grade level teachers regularly to discuss any plans and improvements that are on the horizon for the Tech Office. This communication allows staff to hear about progress on improving technology, but also to express any needs, desires, or concerns. In year 2, we hired a technology assistant, and our office grew to 3. This position allowed the Tech Office to start to differentiate between roles and assign jobs such as toner replacement and setting up new equipment to one individual. We immediately became more efficient because we didn't need to drop everything just to fix a simple problem. This freed up the system administrator and the technology director to do more long-term planning and problem solving. Together, we also continued to focus on improving our own communication with frequent planning sessions and adjusting to the ever-growing list of technological demand that every school district faces. The Tech Office can be described as the people to go to for everything that plugs in. Between the 3 of us, we hold varying amounts of information about each system, and we discuss solutions as soon as a difficult problem appears. This includes responding to problems concerning all of the items listed here. Along with that, there's countless questions concerning websites, software, online testing, and new policies from the State Board of Education that we need to be ready for. And many of these online services require us to create and maintain user credentials for students and teachers from our PowerSchool system. All software and app purchasing and licenses, Inspiration, Kidspiration, CoWriter, Microsoft Suite, Comic Life, typing programs, Apple, all set up and import into these online and allow students or teachers to log in to gain access. The question is, what takes up the majority of the Tech Office staff's day? Well, number 1 is the constant request for help. We get questions about passwords, printers, browsers, software, you name it, we get it. This graph shows a sample of just this past month of one person in our office. Overall, last month we received 178 requests for help through our Tech Helpdesk. And that doesn't count all of the walk-ins and phone calls for emergency situations. The next most common demand on our time is performing updates from various companies such as Apple and Adobe. They often come without warning and are prompted by security concerns or known bugs in their software. Our job is to push out these updates as quickly as we can and remind people to restart their computers so they can take effect. The good news is that we are getting better at doing this using the FileWave software we purchased over the summer. Throughout the 2014-15 school year, the two members of the tech office were able to update all of the 5-year-old switches and create the high-speed fiber-based network capable of 10 gigabit per second speeds between our various wiring closets. This has not only sped up access to the internet for every student and staff member, but help us troubleshoot problems by eliminating issues that might be related to old networking equipment. With careful planning, this massive upgrade was done with no disruption to teachers and students, and it's a substantial savings over what was proposed by our outside contractor. This is just one of the many maps that we created to show where various networked items are located on just one floor. In 2014, the wireless system did allow internet access from many locations around the district. The problem came when more than one device tried to connect. The speed would become dramatically slower and often crash our network. This meant that we needed to be very creative when preparing for online testing. The sea of wires in this picture pretty much says it all. And these pictures also show the amount of preparation necessary just to set up for the park tests in 2014. This all changed with the help of the federally funded E-rate program. The tech office carefully navigated the requirements, hosted several bidders for a walkthrough of the buildings, and ultimately received a 50% discount on the much-needed overhaul of our wireless system. This project included adding 88 new access points for all the classrooms and all new up-to-date Ethernet cabling. As of today, we can easily accommodate 30 students accessing the internet, opening their cloud-based files, or taking online tests from any room. And with any new additions to the buildings in the future, we can provide high-speed access there as well. Here's a recent lesson that I assisted our 8th graders with, in which they were using a website to create a projection of the Electoral College, and then had students save various versions of their Google Drive account as the election evolved. Not once was technology the issue, and personally, I was thrilled to see that we were able to teach this lesson knowing all of the difficulties we'd had in previous years. Some of you may remember in 2014, many computers were close to 10 years old, and staff laptops were 5 years old. The majority of student machines were split between the 4 labs and classrooms. The total number of machines was about 250 throughout the school. Currently, the total number of devices in the district is 780. This consists of 8 carts of 30 laptops, that's 1 in every grade or floor, 3 carts of 26 iPads in the science rooms, and 1 cart of 30 iPads for reading improvement acquired from the Title I funds. Moving on, let's just talk briefly about the recent work that we've been doing to try to update our access through the E-rate modernization program. The best way to describe this is that before E-rate, schools have always focused on the internal delivery of internet bandwidth to classrooms, but not necessarily on how to decrease costs and how internet is delivered to the school. This means reviewing our current internet and phone connections to the school by requesting proposals from vendors for how to make this process the most efficient and cost-effective. It means we have the potential for creating better connections via fiber or antenna by means of redesigning our external access. Once again, there is the potential for substantial savings over a 10-year period if we take advantage of the E-rate funds being made available to us. Since we are at the beginning stage of this process, there are not many other details I can provide, but just like our wireless project, we will have the right to compare and decide on the best options and vendors that fit our district. I'm almost done, so I'm going to move along on how we plan and adapt for the future. One of the most recent examples is the process we use for adopting the interactive flat panel screens. You know them as the Promethean panels. We knew of the great potential of these boards and that they could transform teaching and engage students better. But we decided we needed to review all the various vendors that make these tools. After attending a conference in Philadelphia, I was able to see the very best options firsthand. I chose 4 vendors who could show off their products to our teachers back in Illinois. Staff then came in for a presentation and got hands-on help with each product. Not surprisingly, staff quickly learned that smartboards weren't the only option. As a group, staff and administrators also discussed and voted on the product we thought was best for our needs. As a result, a few months later, after we thoroughly examined how these would impact student learning, we simply needed to place the order and provide the training. By the way, this is our trainer Nick, who teachers say were the real reasons they decided on Promethean. He came out 4 times over the past few months and provided both 1- and 2-hour training sessions to our teachers. This approach we took with the Promethean panels is also being used to discuss how students will be using technology in their school day. Each week, administrators meet to discuss various topics, including the many aspects of where we will be in the coming years. These are based on the many conversations we have with grade-level teams. Many questions come up, such as the future of computer labs versus classrooms equipped with devices. I need to reiterate that nothing's been decided, but the meetings are productive because of the free exchange of ideas about what our teachers need in order to reach their maximum potential. Looking back on where we've been, we know this has been a good investment, mainly because, besides the occasional hiccup, it all works. This was what we saw 2 years ago with all the additional wiring and time-consuming setup that was needed for online testing. And this is today. Thank you for your time.